9:30, so I'll call this meeting to order. Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. We're here to discuss river bins with solid waste. And so what have you got to share with us?
Go for it.
Oh.
You know
Okay.
a little bit more on this.
So, I've given you guys two different things. This is, let's go this one first. So this is the price difference from the 23 and previous years, since they have always stayed the same amount, except for last year. One of our bins almost tripled and one doubled, literally. We are just trying to find a cheaper way, not cheaper, but less expensive way, I guess, to support these river bins for the summer months from May to September for the campers, for everybody who's coming up the river road, because it is a pain.
And we only had so much money set aside for a, what was it, a 3-year? Or was
Yeah,
it
it was
4 years?
supposed to be for 4 years.
For 4 years. And in 1 year, we basically did, yeah, I mean, we don't have enough now to continue with these rates.
And so what raised the rates?
We don't know. We have no idea. We never received a letter stating that prices were going up from the previous year. So we have no clue why.
It's McGilvery that hauls the bins for us, and his rates went up.
And when did his rates go up? You
The
remember?
The first bill?
Yeah, the
on
first.
May 30th was our first dumpster haul. We had two 20 yards from Bumblebee at 110 that's the wrong year. Sorry. 528. We had two 30 yards at Bumblebee at $200 a piece. And a 20 yard at G&G at $350 a piece. And then on 531 we had a 20 yard at G&G for the $350. So our Bumblebee ones were 110. They went to 200. And then the G&G ones were 145, went to 350. And we know that the G&G are going to be a little bit higher because it is farther to drive. We do know that.
But they doubled or increased our prices without a letter explaining why.
Yes.
In May.
Yes.
Okay. And because of that, we are now have used up our funds.
The biggest portion of it, yeah. Yeah, and when we first went out to do this, I had called NCE and said, you know, what are you charging for each of the bins? And we figured out what it would be for each of the bins plus the extras during the holidays for the entire summer. And so that was where the $30,000 that was set aside for those bins came from, is to do 3, maybe it was 3, but I thought we had done 4 years worth of set aside for that to cover those.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, and because it was right around that $7,500 per year in the conversations with the NCE, and it didn't turn out that way this year. We were just for the bins. We were 20,900. Excuse me, 16,150 this year.
So it doubled?
More than doubled, because we were looking at like a 15,000 would be doubling it, and about 7,500 a year is where we had planned it, and it was 16 for this year. And to my knowledge, there wasn't any additional bins or additional holidays that were added.
3 bins. We do 3 bins.
It's the same.
2 down in Bumblebee, 1 up at G&G.
Yeah.
Idaho Strategic sometimes will donate 1 for the major holidays up at G&G, but we don't get charged for that. They get charged for that.
So are all 3 bins 30 yards?
No. This year, like I said, the Bumblebee ones were 30 and G&G was 20. Previous years, they were just 20 yards, I believe. Yeah, they were just 20 yards for both places through the 23 year. And then this year, it looks like Bumblebee was the 30s.
So that'd be
Yes.
like an extra dumpster, right? 30 yards.
Half a dumpster.
You have two
Extra
dumpsters.
third.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
So obviously,
An extra 20, because if you had two 20 yards and now you have two 30 yards, that'd be like an extra dumpster, an extra 20-yard dumpster.
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
But also, we never requested that.
Okay, you never requested a 30-yard?
no.
Okay.
So we are, on this one, we are proposing to do the bins ourselves at a much lower cost. Startup is obviously going to be our cost, but then through that, it'll be us hauling it, our employees doing all the work.
Which is going to put a strain on us, especially on those holiday weekends where we're short people on that Tuesday anyway. But it is an option.
All right, so if we went with the do-it-ourself as opposed to paying, so this went up in May with no explanation of why the price went up in May.
Correct.
Remind me, what month did we do the bid for the scrap metal?
It was right before it.
I believe April.
I believe so.
Interesting. Okay. So with this new proposal, we would be out $36,000 to start it.
No. So if you look at the total, you're looking probably about 40,000. 40,000 plus. These numbers are what we pulled from the last time we had our bins built, because we will have to build some bins. So there probably needs to be a little bit cushion on top of this also, just because price things go up. But the total for this would be 41,000.
A one-time cost of $41,000, and then how much a year to operate?
It would just be, basically what we would charge for dumping fees, which, we wouldn't charge ourselves for dumping, but it would be, hauling and our fees over at Republic.
Which we're paying now anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just trying to do apples and apples here to see.
Yeah.
Right now we're paying $18,000 a year for dumpsters.
Yes.
If we built our own, we'd have no additional costs, just our labor.
Yeah.
So it would take 2 years to break even,
Roughly.
and then we'd be saving $18,000 a year.
Roughly.
Okay. Well, since we don't have any control over the current system, it sounds like prices could just go up any time. That concerns me, the current system.
Well, and also with the current system, we don't even have enough money for next year.
How much do we have left?
In that pot of money, and Shelby and I need to go over it. We were comparing some notes here, but what I have is 9,100 left in that pot of money. Because with total that was charged out to that, we charged 20,900.
So that 91 could go towards this
Mm-hmm.
startup fee to get the dumpsters put together, which means we'd start to break even in a year and a half. And then we'd actually gain. We would break even in a year and a half, and then we'd gain. We'd save approximately $18,000 a year.
And I'm also going to look into getting my Class B, because I'm an extra hand that can help out with this too and get taught how to run the mini.
Okay.
And that is one thing, like especially on the holiday weekends, the garbage overflows, and we would, on those, when they are overflowing and, you know, it's going to take more cleanup. It would take 2 guys out there. You know, we'd have to bring our mini out there, which we have a way to do it. You know, we can use our roll off, load it into a roll off bin, and haul our mini out there to help with cleanup. But it does, like I said, it does take more manpower.
And on that too, we wouldn't necessarily have to go pick them up on that Tuesday when we're swamped and short-staffed. We could always go on Wednesday. That way we can stay caught up with what's coming in and worry about these river bins the next day.
The next day.
Yes.
Take some pressure off. So the question is, where do we get $30,000?
So we have some of the 898 left, depending on if that's the direction they want to go. We have the 9100 left in the bin side, and we have what is it going to be, like 50,000, 70,000 left over from the capital side, and so we would have 2 different places that were set aside for out of LATCF for solid waste to use.
Because it seems like a good idea to take control of these prices by putting our own product out there. What do you think?
If we don't have the money to go forward, you know, that's kind of we don't really have an option, I think.
Right.
And we can always use bins, you know.
Yeah. Right. What would be your recommendation of where to take the money from?
I think just using the ones that are already approved to set aside, unless you guys have other ideas of where it needed to come from.
My only question would be, I know we talked before when I had the other bins built, the Made in America steel. Is that going to be? Just so I know what I'm looking for when.
Absolutely, I would need to look into that because there's now waivers that can be done on projects under 250,000. So we would probably need to apply for those, and I'll work with you on that.
Okay. And when I had the last ones built, the company that we used had no issue getting the American steel. It was just a little bit more expensive is all it was. So.
And that would be just the value analysis that you guys would need to do on what that looks like. So yeah, we can work through that. A question I had on this when I was looking through this, and for the annual cost versus the startup costs, and you know, we were looking at about the 36,000 to do that first initial, and then when we're looking at fuel and time and people annually, I put 5,000 in the budget. Is that something you guys have ready after, you know, this first year or two that you guys are ready to put in there for people in your budget?
Well, so I mean the fuel, you know, and then, you know, obviously it's going to be a little bit more fuel. You know, I don't think that's going to impact your budget all that much. But as far as the man hours, you know, I mean, we have the people on site already, so it's not like there's going to be more man hours.
Okay.
It's just going to be man hours put in different places. So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not really an extra cost.
Okay.
This
Unless,
is just evaluating. Okay.
you know, I mean, unless we talk about bringing on a seasonal worker, which I think is definitely worth talking about.
I would agree.
You know, I mean, because we're so short-handed in those summer months, anyways. You know, that may be something we talk about.
I think that's a good idea.
It's not in our budget this year, obviously. You know, but I think it's something that we could definitely talk about.
Because this is seasonal, really. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
And we are. The minute Memorial to Labor Day, we're just it's nonstop.
It really is.
The thing is, you know, we got seasonal plow drivers. It's too bad we couldn't. I mean, that would be perfect.
That would be
roll
great.
them all in
Absolutely, that would be great. You know, then it's a year-round position, just different departments.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, you ready to make a motion?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. I would motion that we take the money from the LATCF and the 9,000 that we had left for this project, and grant them the 41,000 approximate. When understanding the price could be a little higher with the changes of prices, grant them the 41,000. I would say up to 45 to give you some margin in case the cost of dumpsters has gone up. Do you think that would work?
I think we can make it work.
Okay. So that we could just replace this system with our own.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
No, I just, you know, we're unable to do it next year we don't have it budgeted, and the $9,100 isn't gonna cut it, so, you know, we're gonna have to do this.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries to do our own dumpsters. And does that give you all the information you need?
Absolutely.
Okay. Does that give you the clearance you need to go forward
I think so.
and haul them on the new truck?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll start pricing out the bins and see how close we are on the numbers anyway. So
Okay. Let me open it to public comment. Any comment today? No comment today. You can go if you need more stuff to burn. Matt's got a bunch of bull pine up there.
he was showing me. Said he's not bringing it to us though.
Well, with that, we are adjourned.